The story of the merchant and his lazy son. In a small town, there lived a merchant named Muhammad. He was a hard-working and energetic man who built his business from scratch. He knew the market as well as he knew himself. He believed that work was the foundation of life and that a person would be worthless if he didn't work. He had an only son named Hassan. Hassan was a spoiled, lazy, and neglectful son who saw work as nothing more than an unnecessary burden. Every morning, Muhammad would wake up energetically and go to the market, open his shop, sell to customers, negotiate with them, buy and sell, and return in the evening tired and exhausted from work. Hassan wake up late in the afternoon, eat his food and go to the market to spend his money on his pleasures and friends, without asking how he had come by this money with such recklessness and extravagance. One evening, Father Muhammad returned from work and found his son sitting without any work. He sat beside his son and said calmly, "My son, are you going to stay like this without any work and spend most of your time wasting money on trivial things? Listen to me, my son. Life will pass and you will waste it without work or a goal, and Allah will hold you accountable for your extravagance and laziness. A person who doesn't work and spends on himself and his family has no value. If you don't learn how to work and make money, you will not know how to preserve it." Then Hassan laughed and said with arrogance and foolishness, "My father, I am your son, and the business is in your hands. Why should I tire myself out with work?" Then Muhammad fell silent, then went into his room and returned with a small bag of gold. He said to his son Hassan, "Take this bag, my son, and go to the market tomorrow. Buy whatever you think is useful and beneficial, then sell it and show me how much you will make." Hassan replied, "Okay, father, you will see how clever and savvy your son is, and I will make a lot of money." His father replied, "Okay, my son, tomorrow we will see how much you will earn." The next day, Hassan went to the market for the first time. He wore elegant and luxurious clothes and looked at the people with arrogance and haughtiness. He bought flashy, worthless things that no one needed. He thought that a beautiful appearance was enough to sell what he had. But when he stood to sell his goods, the people ignored and mocked him. One of them said, "Business isn't about pretty cloth, but about a mind that knows what people need." He waited until evening and no one bought anything from him. Hassan returned home sad, defeated, and shameful, and said to his father, "I didn't know it would be this difficult." Muhammad smiled, put his hand on his son's shoulder, and said, "This is how business is. Trade requires intelligence, effort, and experience. Money, my son, without wisdom is like water in a sieve. It doesn't last." Then Hassan said to his father, "You're right, father, and I hope you forgive me for my laziness and negligence and for not going to work with you before." But I promise you, father, that tomorrow I will go with you and learn everything from you. Next morning, Hassan woke up early and went with his father to the market. He watched his father working and asked him about everything until he began to learn. He understood the workings of business and realized that selling wasn't just an exchange, but rather an understanding of people, their needs, their moods, and even their silence. After a few months, Hassan learned and mastered the trade and began opening his own shop every day from morning to evening. He learned how to buy, how to sell, how to respect money because he had worked hard to earn it. One day, Hassan's father sat in front of his shop watching his son from afar. He smiled and said to himself, "Finally, my son has succeeded and gotten rid of his laziness and negligence. I can now depend on him." He wished him success in his life. After a while, Hassan married and had children, and he taught them that life without work has no value. Finally, I would like to offer some advice to lazy people who depend on their families. Laziness is the enemy of a human being, and the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, warned us about it and asked us to work and not to sit idle and depend on others. Work strengthens your character and teaches you how to communicate with people and gain their affection and love. Work teaches you to be independent, hold your head high, and preserve your dignity. Laziness makes you a weak and useless person. You become humiliated, broken, and in need of people. No one will ask you to become a hero from the first day, but try to do any work. As Allah Almighty said in the Holy Quran, in the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, and say, work and Allah will see your work, and so will His Messenger and the believers. In the end, have you ever met a lazy person depending on others? If so, tell me about his or her story. We will meet again in other stories. Please support me, subscribe my channel, and share my stories. Goodbye.